Welcome to the Institute of Jewish Knowledge and Learning. We are here with Rabbi Akiva Mann, diving deeply into our last class of this term on the soul. Take it away, Rebbe.
Okay, thank you, Kim, and Mazel Tov on how is little Isaac? How's he recuperating?
Isaac is his Hebrew name, everyone. Henry, as he's known in California, is just delicious. Thank you.
Okay, good, and Mazel Tov, Kim, Mazel Tov. Okay, so friends, last week, Kim, you did a wonderful job of like encapsulating like last week's class, and thank you for disseminating that sometimes in word in word form. It captures our eyes and our something to review, something that we can like review and remind ourselves. So friends, we spoke last week of a conscious presence of awareness, being aware that we are aware. Because I think if you would gauge your regular ordinary day, and we were to ask ourselves, how aware are you that you are aware at this very moment, at any given moment? How aware of your awareness are you? I think we might be shocked if we were to answer perfectly honestly. So we spoke about the idea of attempting to increase that level of awareness within our awareness. And that is one of the pathways to the soul. And that is one of the keys that unlock the soul, period. And I think if we gauge it in that kind of poll-taking scenario, if you test yourselves during any given moment, we will catch ourselves not exercising our full awareness. And one of the points was that is a weak way of existing on this planet. then that leads to the idea that we discussed of being there, of mamash being in the moment and capturing everything there is to be extracted from every moment of life. And I put now, I learn as much from these lectures as you hopefully do. When I review the notes and I say it out loud, I come up with things I said the first time and create qualifications for the second. And sometimes I was thinking, sometimes we're not aware, or we don't delve into awareness because we actually don't want to. Because what we have a fear of what we are going to become aware of is going to scare the crap out of us. I don't want to be aware because how I'm living and what is going to be revealed in a super type of awareness, I am not interested in. Or I'm afraid of seeing what my life is about. So I'd Taka rather be not aware. Ignorance is bliss. If I don't see it and I don't confront it, then it doesn't exist, and I'm okay with that. And then we spoke about the idea of reaching this idea, if we are to break through, the idea of bringing ourselves to a close to absolute intention of being the screen, the pure screen, instead of always being the film projector. The place of pure awareness, of pure consciousness, is a transitional or is a mix of the film projector upon the screen, but it is more a close look at being the screen. And then we spoke about when we do come to that place of deeper awareness, we spoke of that is really truly the resting place of the soul. That is really it. And resting place does not mean like as in resting, but resting place means resting place in Hebrew means being at home, coming home. That is truly when we become, and we there's a realization that we are what we truly are. That's what resting place means. If I'm not incorrect, Where is Joan? Joan is here. Joan Halpern. Yes, Joan is here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joan, but your Hebrew name is Menucha, isn't it?
Yes.
So you have just a flash came from old Thursday Boca times, that the word Menucha, and when we collate the word Shabbos, Shavat, or pause. And we bring the two words together, Shabbat and Shabbat Menucha. Menucha does not mean like a leisurely rest. Shabbos is nearly the antithesis of leisurely rest. Shabbos is really a place of like a vigorous attempt at reaching our place of pure awareness. And there are certain things evolved over the time where we get confused what Shabbos really is. Shabbos is meant to result in or produce only one thing, and that is menucha. And menucha, okay, it's like I'm a cartoon. Recording stop, I'm like this. Oh, recording in progress. So Shabbat Menucha means a day of the week, or a moment in the week, where we are able, or we are committed to coming back to the place within us that is Bimenucha. That is, we come back to our true place, our true resting place, to the pure screen that is absorbing all of reality, all of life. And I'm just, you know what I do on Shabbos? I am only a sponge. I am not in the larger, as I am not active in the world. I'm not a proactive creature. I am a creature of pure absorption. I'm absorbing the world. I'm inhaling the world on Shabbos. I'm being a pure white screen to the world, vis-a-vis the world on Shabbos. I'm just seeping it in. And I'm doing a deep inhale. So that's what we, spoke about last week. So I want to introduce, and I've spoken about this before, but I want to introduce two last ideas that have to do with practical ways or practical guidances at the least. That will help us ignite our soul's journey back to limnu chochi, back to our resting place of pure awareness. What is the intellectual, emotional, spiritual crossroads? What is the pathway that I can offer to this place of pure awareness, or at least getting closer to that place of pure awareness. And they have to do with two Hebrew words that's I think important for us to know, to put in our to put under our belts, and to gauge our lives, gauge our realities constantly. And the two words are keva and kavanah. And one is spelled, keva is spelled, for you Hebraists, keva is spelled with a kuf, and kavanah is spelled with a kaf. So don't think that they even come from the same root word. Although sometimes the mystics disregarded root words, and actually the mystics said if it sounds, even though it's not spelled, but if it sounds terribly identical, even in Hebrew, sounds that sound identical, even though they don't have the same shoresh, there's something to it. And I think in this case, it actually might be true. So keva is keva means fixed practices. And kavanah is kavanah means, on one level, it means intention behind what we do, the thought processes or the emotional processes that fuel what we do. Kavanah is the inner focus that actually produces a certain amount of spontaneity and a certain amount of excitement in what we do. Right? So we live our lives really in between these two worlds. The realm of keva is what we are used to doing, the things we have established in our lives, the kind of regimen by which we live. And then corresponding to kavanah, the emotional, psychological spirit that we put into those practices. And if you take a look at these two concepts, you will realize that there is an absolutely beautiful and fruitful polarity and also interplay between these two, between keva and kavanah. Etymologically, keva means permanent. permanent, fixed, fixed. Fixed practices that make up most of our lives. Think of that for a moment. Think of the fixed practices that make up your life. Could be walking, could be exercising, could be rituals. It could be rituals of a mundane nature and also of spiritual import. But friends, we all have our rituals. We all have our rituals. Ask somebody randomly, why do you do this? Why do you do it this way? Why don't you do it that way? Why are you insistent on this? Why do you notice this and notice this about me and you don't notice that about? These are all fixed keva dika rituals that we all get drawn into. We all invent in different stages of our life, different keva dika things that if someone asks you to change that, you know, it's mamish out of the question. What do you mean? I do it this way. I have to do it this way. And if it's not this way, it's the highway for you. Are you thinking of your own little keva dika things that you refuse to give up? That when you really think of it, might be legitimate and might be absolutely not legitimate. Might be a little bit of a personalized obsession. So on one level, our practices, our mundane and or otherwise spiritual practices might be a good thing because it's sometimes the good thing is it's kind of the glue that keeps our lives together. If it wouldn't be for that kind of keva kind of thing, our lives we would be 70-year-old teenagers. You know, teenagers don't have that much keva. Elders tend to use keva from falling apart, yes, and that's a good thing. We have to have like a shtickle. Keva creates structure in our lives, and that's a good thing. But sometimes too much keva, too much permanent structure is not such a good thing. On the other hand, things, if you look at the negative side of keva, what are the negative sides of practice of a fixed practice. What's the negative side? The negative side of Keva, which the Kotzker speaks about tremendously, which means that he was thinking about this all the time. Whenever one of the mystics talk about something obsessively, that means that they saw that within themselves as a tremendous danger, as a tremendous cautionary thing calling out to them. So the Kotzker speaks about Keva, about permanent structure. That permanent structure in our lives can cause a loss of oomph. It's the only way to say it, a loss of oomph. Doing something all of the time on a regular basis tends to make that thing lose their vitality over time. Something that is done repetitively, says the Kotzker, tends to become so normalized that we stop appreciating actually what we do, and we absolutely start losing the kavanah vis-a-vis the keva. We human beings start losing focus when we become repetitive. We start losing the oomph. If a married couple who starts off saying, "I love you so much," after a year, they better come up with something else. One other or many other ways of saying it. Because that expression said over and over again without the power of kavanah starts becoming the most ugly expression in the world. To the one hearing it. It starts becoming actually a catalyst for the one hearing it for thinking, I absolutely hear that you don't mean this. I could hear it in your voice. So that's a little bit of the confrontation between a practice that is done lacking kavanah, lacking the power of intention and spontaneity, can be transformed into something very, very dangerous. It applies to all aspects of life. It applies to marriages. It applies to relationships in general falling apart. The more keva, the more used you are to the more familiarized you become. You better augment that. You better add to that some kavanah, or else that relationship is going to fall apart. So sometimes keva can be a very eroding element. I remember when I in the middle of my, I was in the rabbinate, in the pulpit rabbinate for around 43 years, in as a pulpit rabbi, and had to deal, thank God, with a lot of marriages over the years, a lot of happy occasions, a lot of bringing people under the chuppah. And especially with young people in the middle of my rabbinate, I used to get together with the chatan and kala, talk about the wedding, but also talk about love and talk about relationships. And did some little on the spot premarital counseling. And one of the things that I asked them to do as I was preparing for today's lecture, I remembered one of the things I asked them to do was, a year after, I made them kind of promise me and pledge that a year after they get married, that they come back to me and discuss. I didn't tell them what they were going to discuss, but when they did come back to me, I asked them to discuss the changes and transformations from the first day of marriage to a year later, and to describe for me and delineate for me what I was really doing was asking them to be aware of keva and kavanah. That in the first year, no question, hopefully everything is beautifully harmonious. But did you find the weaknesses within keva, of actually living together and getting used to each other and familiarizing, and maybe through familiarity what's the expression? Familiarity breeds
contempt.
Maybe you are feeling that the familiarity the familiarity, although there is something beautiful to say about familiarity, but familiarity brings with it a shtickle ingredient of even contempt. It certainly brings with it a lack of spontaneity and a lack of excitement unless that part is stimulated. On every level, try eating your favorite dish 30 times in a row every day, and you will find that your favorite dish that used to be number 1 on the list is now it now transforms into number 8. Because of keva. As important as keva is, and I have to say, as inevitable as keva is, because our lives not only need but require a certain amount of structure. And I will tell you one thing, that the created world has within it a type of keva. The sun comes up every day and sets every day. There is a certain keva in the inherent in nature, in the world. But as important and as inevitable as it is, keva creates a sense of that expression that I mamish abhor. Done that, did that. When people say that to me, done that, did that. Oy, oy, oy. When I ask someone in the supermarket, how are you? And they say, same old, same old. Keva has the capacity to create a type of boredom that is antithetical to the nature of the soul. Regular practices without kavanah can become like a kind of vapid and tasteless and odorless and textureless kind of life experience. That is antithetical to the energy of the soul. And if we give into that on a physical, on a mundane level, we are feeding the wrong stuff to the soul. It is poison. It is poison to the soul. So comes kavanah. Comes kavanah, which is kavanah. I want to translate as a singular, laser-focused intention. Which alludes to a kind of mind shift that resurrects the dead in us, the dead that Keva could have induced, Kavanah is not only a focused intention, but it is a focused intention that stimulates and excites an inner part of us that is full of renewal and full of excitement and an entrance into spontaneity. And kavanah comes from, I think all of psychology and nearly all of psychiatry is an attempt to identify and then stimulate that kavanah element in people. Let's face it, anxiety and depression and melancholy, different degrees, different forms of all of those three are the major reasons why people need psychological and psychiatric help. People are absolutely lacking in stimulation, in kavanah, in spontaneity. They have gone all through it and find no reason to continue. So Heschel, the great wisdom teacher, Abraham Joshua Heschel, he famously calls this kavanah that I am speaking of, he famously calls this kavanah a sense of wonder. And I know I have spoken on Heschel's concept of wonder a lot in the past, but I want to please indulge me. Some of you might saying, "Oh, here he goes again with a sense of wonder," but I want to correlate. It's important to make this correlation between Heschel's conception of wonder and what we are trying to get to when we speak of trying to be piercing the essence of the soul. And I believe there is a direct correlation. If we make that connection, we will have an entryway into our souls. And if we use this word wonder and start getting used to it because of this teaching, then Dayenu, I will be satisfied if you start using wonder as a point on your emotional and spiritual compass. If you start using this word wonder as one of the points on your inner GPS, I will say Dayenu. I'll say that's good enough for what I wanted to do. Because wonder, the sense of wonder, for not only for Heschel, but for I think Heschel was speaking on behalf of every mystic that ever lived. Wonder for the mystics is not merely an emotion, and it's not even an experience. On the lowest level, on the most minimal level, you know what we associate wonder with? We associate wonder with going to the Grand Canyon and being, whoa, it's wondrous. And their taka is a sense of wondrous about it. When you go to the Alps, when you go to anywhere in the world, that you're saying, wow, wow, and you're enveloped with a sense of wonder. That is a sense of wonder, but it is a sense of wonder on the most minimalistic level, because it is externally coming to you, and you thank God are in your right mind, and you are acknowledging and recognizing the wow about it. But there's a deeper sense of wonder. And the deeper sense of wonder is that it is an existential posture. The sense of wonder is existential. It is part of your soul. It is part of us. It is part of the human condition to be in the state of wonder. The mystic sense of wonder was a fundamental orientation to the world and to our experience in it. I do not have to go to the Alps. I do not have to go to the pyramids to fully experience what is existentially mine to experience. The sense of wonder to our Jewish mystical masters was to experience a sense of wonder in the midst of the ordinary. In the midst of the ordinary, because it is an existential part of our nature, our soul awareness, and therefore our pure awareness. Our masters told us is rooted in our sense of and capacity to wonder. And what a beautiful, gorgeous, outstretched highway that can be for us. Our capacity to wonder is the chief characteristic of man's attitude toward him or herself, toward history, toward nature, and towards existence itself. You people, you guys, you who are the men and women of wonder, or else you wouldn't be listening to this, you wouldn't be here. You who are the men and women of wonder, will never take anything for granted. Men and women of wonder never get bored with anyone or anything. Let's face it, friends, it's very easy to fall into the routine of life. It's as if kind of like life kind of schleps us. we don't, life in a sense schleps us, and we fall into the routine of life. And life sometimes becomes routine. And you know what? Routine is the resistance to wonder. Routine, in a sense, is a resistance to wonder. And we get caught up in its trap. Friends, we as human beings, on a certain sense, and we'll talk about it in the next series with the Tanya, who speaks about the animal soul in us, that we have a soul of pure awareness, but there is a certain aspect to us within our nature that is quite animalistic. And the animalistic part of us, we are it's not a direct metaphor or correlation, but in a sense, in an extreme sense, we are like birds, we are like animals. There is a certain routineness that abides within our nature, that is very much compelled towards routine. And on the higher human level of consciousness, we are here to actually struggle against being like being anesthetized, being under an anesthetic effects of becoming over familiar with our own lives and our own reality. We have to fight against that kind of familiarity. And the mystical wisdom is we must instill within ourselves a sense of what Heschel calls a sense of perpetual surprise. My friends, we have stopped being surprised. And I'm going to take a few comments or questions.
Shabri has been waiting patiently. Are you there, Shabri?
I sure am, honey. Thank you.
And then Carolyn and Bruce.
Rabbi, you have outdone yourself today and every day that I sit at your, well, say I sit at your feet. Anyway, Rabbi.
Shabri, you can't say that because I won't know what to do next week. Okay.
I'm sure something will pop in that wondrous mind of yours. You will know what to give us on top of all of this. Well, Rabbi, I was thinking of, well, you call it wonder, I call it wonder awe, but I think for me, it was like I had to fall in love. I had to fall in love with not only life itself, but fall in love with God. And then all the practices that I do engage in no longer become repetitive, because inside of me, it's like always that feeling that I want to experience that bliss or that wonder. And so you never really, you mentioned the word love once in it. Do you can you see what I'm, is it, how do you feel about that? And then also when you said know thyself, I believe that it's not knowing yourself like a la-di-da self. It's the self, the essence. Know thyself is know the essence. Yeah, thank you, Rabbi. Thank
Okay,
you.
good. Shabri, I'm gonna address your first question in a few moments, actually. Okay, so I'm not gonna bother, right? I'm gonna. I think it'll be sufficient in what I'm gonna say next.
Okay, so it will be Carolyn, Bruce, Ellen, and Mike.
Hi, Rabbi. Carolyn here.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Good to be seen. So a lot of stuff is going on in my head. Number one, I've always considered myself, I'm going to use the term a space gypsy. That is one who is always searching and goes up and down the roller coaster, because in that form, nothing is ever the same old. And yet, having reached 79 with a multitude of medical issues, believe me, there are times when somebody says, "How are you?" and I say, "The same old, Baruch Hashem," because that means I'm stable, I'm okay, everything is perfect in my world. It's the same old, or routine, because there are times when routine is very beneficial. There are times when routine gives me a chance to sit and reflect. So I think everything is a question perhaps of balance. For me, it's about balance. There's nothing wrong with saying same old, or having a routine, as long as I'm in balance with the wandering, or in balance with the experiencing awe. That's all I have to say. Balance for me.
Okay, Carolyn, I just want to address that. Thank you for that. I hope that you noticed that I was trying to create balance between keva and kavana. I am not putting down routine. I am not dissuading the benefits of routine or practice. I am merely pointing out that there has to be taka balance, because keva has a dangerous and poisonous extreme that we might not realize. And that my conclusion is we taka have to find balance, which is going to be balanced by increasing our consciousness and our sense of wonder. Secondly, I realize that sometimes same old is actually a good thing. We say I'm reminded when we close the ark on Shabbat, we say Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem, renew our days as of old. Same old. Although I have to say one thing, Carolyn, there has to be, and I suggest to you that you find an alternate way of saying same old. Same old is giving off horrible and negative impressions. The Hebrew expression is not Yameinu Kekedem, bring us back to the old days. Judaism is much more is much more enlightened than that. Bring us back to the good old days. That's not what Judaism says. Judaism says Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem, renew our days, make our days new in relation to the good old days. So I suggest same old is an expression that has extreme negative connotations and negative vibrations.
So I am open to an alternative.
It has nothing to do with renewal. It has nothing to do with excitement and vigor for the future. Same old sounds like it sounds as it is. Same old sounds useless. Okay, next.
Ellen, and then Mike. Ellen, if you unmute, we will hear you. If you don't unmute, then we will go to Mike.
I don't understand sign language, Ellen.
Okay,
We'll go to Mike.
good morning.
Morning, Mike.
Good morning, Rabbi and everybody. My grandkids are here, so it's kind of a little bit of holiday here. Anyway, I've been listening to 98.9% and love everything, of course. A couple of thoughts. One is what it reminded me, Rabbi, speaking of Keva and Kavanah, and the image that came to me was that of a muffler, like the turtleneck top of a sweater, and a muffler where it can turn inside out. And depending on what side of the muffler is on the outside, that could be keva or it could be kavanah, but they're interrelated. And you can't separate one from the other. And as we are, part of the human being of existence, we need the keva in order for the kavanah to be represented. We can't have, at least in my understanding, we can't have kavanah without the experience that the kavanah shows itself through. So it's revealed, like as in Mount Sinai, the revelation of Hashem through experience, and it plays over and over again, and goes around in a circle. We get too much experience, we lose the kavanah, and then we get back to the kavanah, and we lose the experience, and it goes around like a fleur-de-lis water display. The other thought, just one real quick thing, is for myself, I find when I've lost kavanah and I notice that I've lost it, it's due to my resisting something in the moment. I am trying to resist the reality of what's happening in the situation. The experience is there, it's already gone, but the resistance, I'm resisting the emotional response to that experience. And it's the resistance to experience that keeps me in the keva. And as soon as I can let go of the resistance to my reaction to the experience, I can pop back into the sense of kavanah again. And then it just goes around and around, and gradually, hopefully, I spend more time in kavanah than I do in keva. But we need both, because otherwise we're not here. Well, maybe not. Maybe we could exist without the kava. I don't know.
Okay, Mike, you brought up a few things, and I'm just going to kind of bring them together from your first point and your second point. The relationship between keva and kavanah, you are correct. They are both absolutely necessary in creating what we call the human experience. The full human experience has to do with this double-sided coin of between keva and kavanah. My main point is that we and certainly in the last century, this was one of Heschel's main ideologies, and his main ideology in the 20th century was he was just echoing what the mystical masters had been saying in the 19th and 18th and 17th centuries. He was saying, and especially in the 20th, that we are losing our grasp on kavanah. We have done. He's speaking, as a Jewish, with a Jewish voice. We have done over the millennia. We have done wonders with keva. But even those that have adopted keva we are slowly in the modern age, and I believe it is kal v'chomer in the 21st century, even more. We have lost the talent, the willingness, and the yearning to invest in kavanah. And that is the challenge for the 21st century, is not to come up with more practices, but rather the practices that we already have require the energy and the lifeblood of more kavanah. We have to switch gears into more intentional mindfulness rather than coming up with more props. As important as props are, but we are losing the talent. And that is dangerous not only for the Jew, it is dangerous for civilization. Heschel was speaking on a universal level. Our focus on kavanah, our focus on a sense of wonder is being overtaken by Adam 1. Adam 1 is winning. Adam 2, majestic man, is losing. And majestic man is being nourished by wonder and kavanah, not by keva.
Okay, Rabbi Akiva, it's going to be Ellen, Bruce, and Sandy, and Debbie Kugelman will be taking over the directions because I need to leave. So take it away, friends.
Great, thanks, Kim.
Hi, Rabbi. Once again, I feel like you're talking directly to me and everybody else is eavesdropping. I came home late last night from a river cruise in Europe. And
oh, nice.
It was phenomenal. But what had happened was, it was only a week long. 12 days before I left, I was thinking, I need to do something. I'm in a rut. Something has to change here. And I happened to be online and saw this cruise and booked it. And within 12 days, I went. And I kept telling everyone, I'm really not going. I took out insurance so I can cancel for any reason. I've never done anything like this before. I've never traveled alone before. I am very analytical. I don't make decisions easily. And this was life-changing for me. I can do things that are outside of my comfort zone.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Excellent.
It was, somebody said something to me, I forget what it was on the cruise, about something. And I said, but this isn't me. I'm a different person than I was a week ago. It was
so you,
transformative.
Ellen, can you say that this not only the cruise itself, but the decision itself was an opening to your sense of wonder?
Absolutely, it was transformative. It was, yes, I'm filled with wonder, not only what I saw, but by what I did.
Yes, and what you did internally. I mean, the external stuff is neither here nor there. But I think what we are talking about is the decision itself. It's something similar to the decision, the spontaneous decision that you made years ago to come on the Institute trip to Israel. Also was a decision not to necessarily see the Middle East or a small little country called Israel in the Middle East, but it was rather the inner essence of your moving towards a this sense of I am going to jump into the swimming pool called wonder.
But on that trip, I had you and all the other wonderful people to hold on to me and take care. I was alone on this trip, and I've never ventured out alone like this before. And I can do it.
And
And I wasted the
another sense of wonder to meet strangers that might affect your life.
Yes. So thank you for inspiring me all these years.
Okay, good. Thank you, Ellen.
Bruce is up. You have to unmute, Bruce.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay. I wonder about wonder, a sense of wonder. And to conclude, before I even start, I feel the direct connection between Kiva and Kavanah. For me, those two terms intermingle and make up, quote, the sense of wonder. The word wonder can raise questions or definitions of inquisitiveness, questioning, and it could be kept limited and stilted. So,
beautiful, Bruce. You just said it right there. I'm going to continue with exactly where you are going to dissect a little bit of what we mean by a sense of wonder.
yes.
Okay, I very much appreciate how you are wondering about wonder can mean a sense of wow, or gewalt, or it can mean a sense of the mysterious, the sense of I don't understand this at all, and I am in a state of wonderment, and that is valid. And the answer, the short answer. I hope I have time. I don't know what time it is. I'm trying to.
You still have 10 minutes, Reb.
Oh God, 10 minutes is not good enough. But that is a very good distinction of what I mean and what Heschel meant and what the mystics meant by this sense of wonder. That is an excellent. It's a two-parter that has to be discussed. Okay, quickly.
Okay, it's Sandy. I'm thinking during this lesson of how many of us are doers, many of us are non-doers, many of us are thinkers, many of us are non-thinkers. And when you think, you engender a sensibility and love of humanity and of God. Kava is the minutia, the smallness of everyday living that repeats and repeats, opposed to kavanah, which means to be, in my estimation, a creative, giving human being. So those to me are the two differences. And the other thing I will say very quickly is part of our minutia in life is wanting to go with the flow of your your people that you are around. But everybody, it seems, that is taking a class or this class is a thinker. And we just don't want to follow everybody else and be one of the herd. We want to be separate. We want to be kind. We want to find a reason for living and looking inside. That's it.
Great, Sandy. Sandy, I love what you said. My only qualification is that I would not label keva with the English word minutia, because as I pointed out, and as Michael pointed out, keva is the springboard. It's not minutia. It's the springboard from which kavanah, intention, can spring off of. It is they keva and kavanah are interdependent. The question that we are asking is have we put too much emphasis on the keva? Have we been drawn in, and then have we been drowning in keva and totally neglecting what the hard part is the kavanah, is the inner spiritual energy that makes keva worthwhile. So my only humble correction is you cannot call keva minutia. The question is how much emphasis or how much it has to be de-emphasized in relation to our shortage of the real stuff, which is kavanah. Right, we have so little time. We can actually end with this, with two things, and please allow me if I go, Debbie, just tell me when we hit deadline, and please forgive me. We're going to go just a few minutes longer, because I don't want to keep the soul lecture hanging on a string. There's also something for upcoming celebration and festival of Shavuot. You know, the word hayom, today, it's such a simple word. And I just thought of it right now. Hayom, today. If you take a look at the Hebrew letters, the first three letters are the name of God, by the way. Hey, Yud, Vav. Hayom, today. In the present, right now. The first three letters is the name of God. And if I just thought of it now, so my one part of my brain is racing. I can also fit in the Memsofit into this idea of the Memsofit is the only Hebrew letter that is closed, completely closed. So you have the first three letters that is God, and the Mem Sofit that is totally closed, that is like a period. And anyhow, the word Hayom is dominant in the Torah. I don't know the exact numerical times. I will find out how many times the word Hayom is mentioned in the Torah, but it is more than nearly any other word is the word Hayom. And in the Torah, Hayom means today. The Torah says at the revelation, at the giving of the Torah says, Hayom, today you have seen. Hayom la'asotam, today is the day that you shall observe and learn about these instructions, these directions. Hayom in the Torah, in Torah language, in Torah code, means as follows: a willingness to encounter the world. In this case, to encounter Torah, to encounter revelation, to encounter enlightenment again and again, as if it was for the first time. Whenever the Torah says, the Torah was speaking to the people who lived Debbie, who's doing that?
Donna, you need to mute yourself, honey.
When the Torah speaks from 3,200 years ago and says Hayom, today, the Torah is not talking about a date 3,200 years ago. The Torah is speaking to me and you today, as if the Torah is asking us, consider as if I am talking to you today. And there's a fantastic, unbelievable, wondrous message in that keva, routine, will be transformed out of its routineness if we inject a sense of wonder, as if it is Hayom, as if it is for the first time. When I say Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, today, as one should be meditating on every day for a few moments, at least. We have to be meditating on the unity of God and the unity of the universe, as if this was the first day that I recognized that. I am not saying my Shema in the same capacity as I said it yesterday. And I will not say my Shema, or I will not light my Shabbos candles, which is part of our routine. It's part of the keva. I will not be doing that in the capacity of keva. I will be doing it and meditating on it and viewing it as if I had never, ever said it in my lifetime. That is the type of kavanah, that is the type of focus, laser focus in which we must be behaving in this world, in this reality of ours, if we are to capture our own sense of wonder. If we don't do that, we are going to be leading the most boring frickin' lives ever. If we are able, through kavanah, for the sake of the sense of wonder, we will surprise ourselves, as we must do every day. There has to be a surprise every day. Baruch Hashem, Yom Yom. Yom Yom. Every day must be a surprise. Or a shtickle surprise. You don't have to be surprised, you know, to a point. A shtick every day must present to us a surprise, a sense of wonder, or else we have to wonder what our lives really are all about. So when we engage in our keva, in our routines, there is a neshama, there is a soul, there is an energy behind what our routines are. Otherwise, we're dead. And the last point, you know, in Judaism, we keep on, we all know this. We keep on repeating things over and over again in Judaism, right? We have to say, we say Shema twice a day, every day. We pray every day. Shabbos comes once every single week. And we repeat Shabbos after Shabbos after Shabbos. And there's a lot of the Torah insists on a lot of repetition, on a lot of routine to actually create keva, to create routine. And I'm sure you have asked yourselves, I have asked myself, why? It's so, you know, it's so routine. It's so burdensome, actually, at times. So friends, the quick answer is as follows. We have it a shtickle wrong. We have it a shtickle wrong. We perceive the directives of the Torah in mamash maybe the wrong way. Because it's only because of the insights and sparks of wonder that we must be that must be constantly kept alive, that routine is thrust upon us. It's not for the sake of the routine. The Torah wants us to be constantly in a state of wondrous amazement. The Torah wants us to be flowing with excitement and spontaneity. And as we said before, the springboard for creating that type of stimuli is to create a routine, but not for the sake of the routine, for the sake of the electricity that we are going to be conjuring up through its performance. The main function of keva, of routine, is to keep us electrified, to keep us spiritually alive and perceptive. And if we don't make the connection between kavanah and keva, and only are keeping our gaze on the keva without the heart that is the real kavanah, the only loser is going to be our souls. The soul needs keva, routine, but the soul thrives off of kavanah. The soul is nourished off of kavanah, and kavanah becomes the heart of anything and everything that we do. I'm not talking only here about mitzvot, I'm talking about any ordinary activity. You have to be able to say to yourself and gauge, measure the strength of your inner intention, of your inner electricity of any and every activity that we do. And life will become wondrous for you if you are able to practice that.
Thank you, Rabbi Akiva. That's a great place to end because we're a little over.
Okay, thanks everybody. Debbie, just please inform everyone when the Tanya class is going to be. I don't even